Well, we all know the unsets from the past. What are they known for? Silver borders, but also beautiful lands. That's right. You know the beautiful lands. The gorgeous art. In fact, one of my favorite arts are actually from the unsets. And this new unset is no exception, but they're not going just all out on the lands. They're also going all out on the dual lands. We've got Blood Crypt. We've got Hollow Fountain, Watery Grave. My god, look at the art on these things. They're gorgeous. Stomping Ground. It doesn't even look like Magic, really. I mean, it looks like from some sort of alternate dimension. Some alternate game, perhaps. That's not Magic-like whatsoever. This looks like a Mario Kart course between, like, Koopa Beach and some sort of Bowser level mixed together. I don't know. Something like that. We got Godless Shrine. And Overgrown Tomb. Now, what is this set about? If anyone has been living under a rock, there are actually some big... There's a big deal about this unset. I guess it's carnival themed, but the number one thing you got to know is that these are going to be legal cards. They're dividing the set in half. Where's the card saw in half? Where is it? It's somewhere here. There's some sort of saw in half. There we go, saw in half. So what they did, saw in half, by the way, is a card. Black, 2 generic, instant, destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, its controller creates 2 tokens that are copies of that creature, except their base power is half that creature's power, and their base toughness is half that creature's toughness, rounded up each time. So they sawed in half the set. And not legal in Modern, but legal in Vintage, and I think Legacy. Vintage and Legacy. Again, you know, the format that can play anything. They're divided by the little hollow stamp at the bottom. They're divided by the hollow stamp. Actually, does it actually need the hollow stamp? I think maybe it needs the acorn hollow stamp. So here's the deal. Here's the most interesting part of the exercise. Over half the cards, including over 1/4 of the rares and mythics, were in the black border category. It seems odd to print a set where half the cards would be perfectly fine to play in casual formats, in other words, ones that didn't allow silver borders, but make it so they couldn't. That then led to our big idea. What if there was a way to express silver borderness that didn't require a silver border? Universes Beyond had started using the security stamp to express information about the card. Normal Magic cards have an oval security stamp, while Universes Beyond cards have a triangle. What if we use the security stamp to indicate what silver border used to indicate? We looked at a bunch of shapes and ended up choosing an acorn. We got an acorn, people, here. Yes, an acorn. Squirrels have long been associated with unsets, and the shape was distinct. What an acorn security stamp means is exactly what a silver border used to. This is a card not meant for tournament play and should only be used in casual formats where all the players agree to its inclusion. You know, Commander, if the whole party agrees that you can play with the uncards. Basically. We have dubbed these acorn cards... Oh, they're just called acorn cards. If a card has an oval security stamp or no security stamp at lower rarities, it's legal in the Eternal formats, Vintage and Legacy, which includes Commander, Legacy, and Vintage. Oh yeah, I guess Commander is also considered a Legacy, an Eternal format. We have dubbed these Eternal cards. This security stamp technology would allow us to let the 2 different types of cards commingle in the same set. I should stress that all the cards in this set were designed before the distinction exists, so cards weren't made to be one or the other. We just made cool cards for the set and later divided them into categories. So I guess they were like... So they made the cards first, and then they said, could this realistically see play, or is this like just too goofy to be in an even Commander? Is this too goofy? You can see where they drew the line. If it goes into an unset, then that means that's like too stupid even for the Commander players. So we tweaked a small number of cards that were close to being non-acorn, but mostly things stayed as originally designed. Let me give you some examples using some preview cards. So if it got the acorn, see you have the acorn at the bottom here. Killer Cosplay? Nope, that's not even good enough for Commander. Too stupid even for Commander. It's got the acorn in the bottom. Water Gun Balloon Game. Again, a little too goofy for Commander. It's got the acorn on the bottom. Same with Assembled Ensemble. Do you have anything else? But if it has the regular holo stamp or no holo stamp, hey, it's good, baby. Put in your Commander deck. Your new Commander could be the Space Family Goblinson. So this is some weird take on the Jetsons. And of course, we've got all the lands. Hollow Fountain, Watery Grave, Blood Crypt, Stomping Ground. I mean, this is... I mean, I don't know. The Unsets are actually well known for being a really good draft. But I just know the Unsets mostly as, like, dishing out the really good arts. And we got a lot of good arts for basic lands for years. They've done it for, like, 3 Unsets. But this is the first Unset they're like, hey, we can improve our dual lands. We can improve the shock lands. So, Watery Grave, Blood Crypt, and Stomping Ground get a makeover. Same thing with Temple Garden, Godless Shrine, and Steam Vents. These are really unique lands. Really unique stuff. I like them. I like them. This reminds me of Star Wars. I'm sure that was on purpose. I don't know if this is like one of the Death Stars or some other big orb-looking spaceship getting blown up, but I'm getting big Star Wars vibes from this. And this breeding pool's... I thought it was going to be awesome, then I realized these are eyeballs. I thought these were swans at the bottom here. But it looks like it's just these long, weird necks with an eyeball at the end, and that's actually pretty gross. That's actually pretty gross. We got a plains, got the island, new swamp. Oh yeah, there's 2 pairs of basic lands. 2 pairs of basic lands. Is the Space Family Goblinson like Jetsons or something? I think so. Everyone, it's Swiss Family Robinson. Correct. I think it's like that. Well, Willie's like, every time I read or see something new from Wizards of the Coast, I feel like Squidward rolled up in a ball screaming, future, future. I thought squirrels now represented Modern Horizons too. You're right. They play on both sides. They play on both teams. So Mareep King says, the border acorn thing is making things more complicated. P.S. Hidden No Nut November meme. Oh man, I'm sure there's a good joke there that I'm just missing. Yeah, so Eternal Formats includes EDH. Absolutely. So it's a Pizza Planet set, is it? Where's the pizza? Look at that forest! This forest is amazing. So anyone who likes astronomy, this is going to be the set for you. Definitely is going to be the set for you. Where's the pizza? Is this a pizza? Is this a pizza? This sort of looks like a pizza, I guess. In sort of some sort of pizza way. Anyway, that's the new Unset. KBG says, I like that they print playable cards in Unsets. The acorn thing is dumb. They should just be silver border. But you know what? Honestly, the silver border looks like shit. Like, let's be serious. Silver borders look like garbage. It's like it's like a relic of the white border days. It will be probably slightly confusing, but like I don't think it's going to be any more confusing than Historic. Historic is pretty confusing as it is. You do enjoy that it comes out April. Is that true? I missed that. When's the set coming out? It's officially coming out April 1st? What a joke. The story starts mid 2000. Oh yeah, it is coming out April 1st. Coming April 1st. This is an early April Fool's joke on everybody. This looks like it would make for a good poster. Anyway, Unset. Favorite new show? Oh, my favorite new one? Oh, Watery Grave is good. Stomping Ground is good. I might like the Hollow Fountain the most. It just like when I scroll past it, I feel something. I feel something more than just like nice art. It's like, and also I still like the breeding pool. I just don't like the fucking eyeballs. The eyeballs are a little gross to me. Oh, why'd they ruin it with the eyeballs? Damn it. I know it's like it's all fake. It's all fake, you know. But still, I know it's supposed to be fiction. But the eyeballs are just a little creepy to me. Anyone else creeped out by eyeballs? Historic might be confusing, but at least it's MTGA exclusive, so there's less confusion. Well, these are unset cards. Like, in the grand scheme of things, like, if you're playing Modern, just don't play with the unset. I mean, it still has a symbol on it, right? I think it's, oh, it's also legal in... They didn't say that it's legal in Pauper, but... They did not explicitly say any of this stuff is legal in Pauper, but I imagine that it would. Probably should have used a watermark or a promo stamp for the unlegal cards. Maybe. Yes, it is April 1st. Come and they will say April Fools. It is coming out tomorrow. Yeah, probably. Pauper is eternal. I mean, yeah, I agree. Pauper is eternal. I'm just surprised that they didn't mention it. But then again, then they might have to mention like tiny leaders and stuff like that. Anyway, new Unset. Millions of new lands. Millions of new possibilities for your decks. Anyway, welcome to Coffee and MTG. I'm Nikachu, Merfolk Master. And what is a morning show without wonderful sponsors? If they load. Deal of the week this week. Save up to 20% off all Dungeons & Dragons inventory at FusionGamingOnline.com. Not much of a Dungeons & Dragons player, but if you are, I mean, they got books and they got books, art. What else can you get on Dungeons & Dragons? It's hard for me to sell this product if I don't know what on earth it is. Well, let's click on it. What can we buy here? That's 20% off. We can get Dungeons & Dragons, the Mage Adventure System. I'm trying to like think into like what would Spaceballs say? Dungeons & Dragons, the coloring book. Dungeons & Dragons, the lunchbox. You get miniatures, you can get dice. All that this week, 20% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout, though. Gets you 5% off all your purchases. Also supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Metagame's changing, people. Changing all the time. And there's a huge wide variety of decks in Modern. People love Modern right now because it is incredibly diverse. Powerful, but still diverse is still what Modern is supposed to be. And if you want to get part of that diversity, you don't buy into one deck, you play all the decks, and you can do that with a rental service like Mana Traders, where you rent the deck. When you're done with it, you try another one. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. And good morning, everyone. Or did I miss the good mornings? Did people even say good morning? I think you guys said good morning. You guys, we got the good mornings, of course. The good morning fam, all of you on the morning show with the good mornings. Good morning, Jansen. Good morning, Jared, a member of Team Nikachu, Team Coffee and MTG. I actually have to give, I gotta give a poll to all of you. Maybe not to you guys. What is more valuable on this YouTube channel, the Coffee and MTG or the gameplays? Now I'm starting to wonder if this channel should be exclusively Coffee and MTG, and I push the gameplay even to like another channel. But honestly, I don't want to put too much effort into it. I think Coffee and MTG has a lot of potential. We have this channel has a lot of potential. Good morning, Dylan, Matt Wazix. We've got Alex, the fake doctor, Marcel, Aaron, Joseph, Tommy, Tyler, Chris. Good morning, everyone. All right, you know the deal. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question helps me find your questions amongst all the comments. We're getting on my YouTube, my social media channels, but also, if you're on YouTube, Nikachu MTG streams, you can donate with a super chat, and your question gets pushed to the top of my feed. All right, we got first one. We got what does Kebby have to say? Those lands are gorgeous. Wizards keeps finding new ways to top basic lands. Yes, this is how you grind the money. This is an innocent way to grind money. You know, we're gonna pay money for those nice arts. In fact, and also it puts more shocklands into the system. Shocklands have been going up. Shocklands have been going up. Let's see what a breeding pool costs. $22. Look at the price of the shockland. They've been going up. I think people forgot. What's a watery grave? This is not really one of the more popular ones, but okay, wait, watery grave didn't go up. Breeding pool did, though. I know the breeding pool did. Daniel, since Subtlety is so good, is there any chance we should have been playing Snapback all these years? No, because Snapback is not a creature. That is the deal. And also, hold on, there's a... These two cards aren't even comparable. I know what Snapback is. It's just an unsummon. Okay, let's talk about the differences between Snapback and Subtlety. So Snapback says, you can exile a blue card from your hand, then rather than pay the spell's mana cost, return that creature to its owner's hand. So here's the deal. Let's say I snap back... well, so first off, I can't snap back Fury or Solitude, which is the main reason we're playing Subtlety. Because if the Solitude and Fury get into the battlefield, they're going to get their ETB trigger and they're going to blow up our creatures. So bouncing it back doesn't do anything. And on top of that, if we bounce it back, then they're going to replay it from their hand. That's terrible. So they got two effects. They got to play it twice in one turn. That's no good. So that's the difference between... And also, this is not a creature. Subtlety, however, is completely different. It deals with the card on the stack, like Primeval Titan, for example. They cast Primeval Titan. It doesn't even get into play. We put it on top of their library, so they don't even get it back in their hand. They can't even recast it, even if they had the mana. And they have the choice of putting it on the top or bottom of their library, or maybe we force them to shuffle their library. I mean, other decks can force them to shuffle their library. And get rid of it. But the deal is, like, it doesn't even enter play. So there's no ETBs, and they don't get their card draw step for the turn, because if they put the card on top of their library, then they're just redrawing what we just put on top. So it's not even card disadvantage, because the opponent lost their draw step, effectively. Or if they put it on the bottom of their library, they get their draw step, but then they lost the card. So anyway, it's not even close. Yeah, there's honestly apples and oranges. Subtlety is 400 times better than the Snapback. But anyway, that's the biggest difference between bouncing something and then putting the spell on top of their library. Didn't even see the light of day. Instant death. Yeah, what would Yogurt say? What would Yogurt say? Man, I gotta get like a bunch of Spaceballs quotes, like just available, maybe on a soundboard or something. Is anyone else out there desperately want to see a Spaceballs 2? But fucking Mel Gibson, he's getting really old. I don't think that Spaceballs 2 is gonna happen. And what a better time to do it than right now? Like they just finished the series, the Star Wars series. They're probably gonna make more Star Wars movies. You know Disney, they're gonna milk that franchise for all it's worth. Now is a better time than ever to keep up with the Spaceballs. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. Are they legal in Pauper? I think. They didn't officially say so, but I'm assuming. The Pauper community would know better than I would. That's for sure. What other questions we got? We're only here for the Monopoly strats? I don't know how many times I can talk about Monopoly. Like, that's the thing about Monopoly. You can talk about, like, almost the entire strategy in, like, 15 minutes and that's it. For anyone who did not see the Monopoly stream, you go for the warm colors. You go for the oranges, the yellows, and the reds. Those are the best properties. Why? Because people go to jail all the time. And the most likely properties you're going to land on after you get out of jail is the oranges, the reds, and the yellows. So those are the properties that are cheap enough to buy houses and hotels, and get enough of payoff to bankrupt all your opponents. So trade for those warm properties. Dylan says, I don't think splitting up videos on different channels is a good idea. Also thought on elementals in the current meta. I think it's a great idea. I'm turning into quite the YouTube master here. It's just a matter of, do I want to put in the effort? Because I can see that the analytics to these videos, I have a feeling when you're done watching Coffee and MTG, you end up watching like a game, the YouTube suggests a gameplay video and then you just leave. Like there's a lot of people are just gone after the first few seconds, and vice versa with the gameplay videos. People watch the gameplay, but they're not here for Coffee and MTG. But what if you could just cascade into one Coffee and MTG, into another Coffee and MTG, into another Coffee and MTG? So thoughts on elementals in the current meta? I think it's, like, in theory, it's still good, but it looks like it's being overshadowed by the 4-color elemental deck. And it's not like elemental tribal. Well, let me get it. It's more this, I think it's this, right? No, this is not it. Is it? Is this blink stuff? Something like this. The elemental deck sort of looks like it's turned into this 4-color blink crap. With the Omnath, Fury, Solitude. Not necessarily playing with Ephemerate, but, you know, any deck that's playing Solitude, Fury, and Omnath, because, like, those are the best elementals in the elemental deck in the first place, so... Why not just build the deck around that and play Ren and Six and Teferi Time Raveler and Yorion? And that seems to be a very successful deck. You see a lot of big names. We got Jabberwocky abandoning Jund to go the full... Like, hey, Jund players like value. Don't get me wrong, they love value. And now they're just value is in the different colors. It's on the other side of the color pie, basically. But I guess they get to share the Gruul colors still. But it looks like if you're going to play elementals, why not just play the full-on control version? What is so special about the OG elemental deck? Coffee and MTG is the most important and should probably replace Good Morning America. I agree. Amber's Hangout. Remember when Shocklands were $7 each? I remember when they were like $5 each. They went low. How low did they go? Well, maybe these didn't go that low. It's close. 821. Maybe they didn't go that low. I swore they went that. Maybe. Nah, maybe they didn't go that low. $8. $7, $8. $7, $8-ish dollars. Those are the days. Remember when fetch lands were like... I remember when Pluto Delta was like $10. Like when Khans of Tarkir came out, this thing just crashed. Or maybe it's saying it's like $13 down here. I remember some low cost for these lands. Let's look up Wooded Foothills. Wooded Foothills. Oh yeah, there we go. There's sub $10. What are we at? $40 now. Whoever like bought a lot of fetch lands, you made bank. I had all the fetch. I had a lot of fetch lands, and I meant to sell them like a long time ago, like around I don't know, like the $16 route, just because I'm like, what do I have these fetch lands for? I just play Merfolk. I mean, I originally had a lot of fetch lands because I didn't know if I needed them for Legacy or some modern deck. But anyway, I'm so bad at selling cards. I'm so bad. Is anyone out there the same way? You like buy cards but you don't sell them, so you just end up with a ton of cards. And I guess that worked out to our benefit because, you know, all the cards have gone up in value. Yeah, Good Morning Canada, or how can we good? Because that doesn't really roll off your tongue like Good Morning America. Good morning or Good Day Canada. Good. I don't know. Figure something out, Chief. Figure something out. Wait, the stream hasn't replaced Good Morning America? Not yet. We're working on it. Dude, all the question marks in chat are throwing me off. The thing is, I'm getting a bunch of... I can't read everything, so I'm just trying to focus on the comments with question marks. Or sorry, not the comments, but like if you got a question, I give the question marks priority. So we see here, Andrew Sisson, 2K this weekend, getting ready, looking forward to it. It was canceled last month. Anyone else comp their Secret Lair commander deck? So hold on, you lost your 2K? Why did they cancel the 2K? Doesn't make any sense to me. And anyone else, when anyone was comp the Secret Lair commander deck? I don't know. I don't understand this question. Sorry about that, Andrew. Sorry about your tournament that got canceled. Yes, printing shocks in this way is better than going back to Ravnica again. Oh, yeah, we've visited Ravnica a million times. We're done with that plane. There's so many planes out there. Why do we keep going back to Zendikar and Ravnica? Can we at least go... Okay, we're going back to Kamigawa at least, but can... in a weird futuristic world. Can we at least go back to Lorwyn? Can we do that at least once, damn it? The fairy players would lose their shit. I kid you not. The fairy players, they would lose it if we go back to... They're desperate. I once tried to look up all the 1-drops for fairies and the 2-drops. They got nothing. That tribe has absolutely nothing. No wonder they're starving on Spellstarter Sprite and Bitter Blossom. Because that tribe has no creatures. No creatures whatsoever. And thanks to Renin 6, like, basically all the creatures suck, too. They're pretty bad. Erwin Lopez, my first Modern tournament in over 18 months at my local game store for the store championship. Any sideboard cards that overlap for control, mill, and burn for mono blue merfolk. Counterspells. Counterspells, counterspells, counterspells. That's all you need. Counterspells. Any counterspells. Any and all counterspells. Ideally ones that can also counter planeswalkers, but counterspells. It all works. Like, burn and mill is like the same thing. You just can't... But burn is still a little difficult, even when you have counter spells, but like that is the overlapping cards. Oh, what do we have here? Trev, you don't want a Spaceballs too? I want a Spaceballs too. I don't care if it risks ruining the original. Would Snapback be playable if it put it on the top or bottom of the library? Maybe, actually. Yeah. If it didn't, if it was like a free Ether Gust, absolutely, that could see play. The unset cards are pauper legal if they are commons. All right. Does anyone here lost the fine line between what's real and what's fantasy? And, you know, I feel that way when I'm looking at these lands. This is out of this world. Wizards of the Coast has now finally lost the fine line between what's real and fantasy. Oh, I'm sorry, they didn't, because we got the acorn symbol now to represent that, don't we? Lone Star, I see your deck is as big as mine. We're both Yorion players. Harvard, what do you think about Enchantress in Modern at the moment? I made 13th in a big 100-player tournament in Norway last weekend. If you know something everyone else doesn't, you got to publish that deck list, because, I mean, the deck is sort of crap. It's really clunky. That's the problem with it. It's just clunky, that's all. But if you got some innovative list, I mean, play it online, prove to people what it's worth, and people will... There's a lot of people out there, they want to play Enchantress. This was one of the hottest decks when Modern Horizons 2 first came out. People were forcing it. But in the end, it didn't stand the test. I don't even think it stood a month. It's just clunky. It's just really clunky. Super ultra clunky. Alejandro, Nikachu, you like board games? Which one you'd recommend to play with my wife and siblings? I don't really like board games, to be honest. I just play Monopoly, and honestly, I can't even recommend that. I can't recommend that game. It's not even that good of a game. It's like... The problem is, you gotta play with the real rules, which seem unfun. But the real rules let the game finish in, like, less than an hour. Whereas if you play with, like, home rules of, like, getting $400 if you land on go and all the taxes go to, like, free parking, then the game goes on for forever. So the money's not leaving the economy. Anyway, I have nothing to recommend. Play the... Does Dungeons & Dragons have a board game? Lee Joyner. Hey, Nikachu, big fan of your content. Question. My Modern sideboard contains 4 Chalice of the Void over 4 Ancestral Vision. My list is based off of the second place list. Is Chalice still relevant? Chalice is very relevant. It's very good right now. But here's the question. How good can you defend the card? Like, that's the problem. Like, us Merfolk players, we defend the Chalice of the Void so poorly right now. Because your opponent post board... They're bringing in the Kolaghan's Command. They're bringing in the Abrades. They're bringing in Prismatic Ending. They got the tools for us. And also, sometimes it just doesn't even matter. They get the 1-drops out really early, get a Chalice on 1, but then they're just playing 2-drops after that, and they just ignore it. So, I mean, I had a Chalice on 1 the other day with a different deck against Hammer Time, and they just crushed me. They played Stoneforge Mystic, got the Hammer anyway, put the Hammer in play, and I was dead. And I was just dead. So anyway, Chalice is a very good card right now. Very vulnerable. Very hard for the Merfolk deck to protect. That's why Blue-Eye Control can play with this card very well. They can play a Chalice on 1 and defend it to death with counterspells. We can't do that. And they can also deal with cards that got underneath Chalice better than we do. Wes Carter, what is your thought process when you're evaluating whether or not an arbitrary card is good or bad in the context of the meta? The question is, what problems does this card solve for me? That's what I'm always thinking about. So when I'm looking at a card, I'm like, does this solve any of my problems right now? Let's say I can't beat an Ensnaring Bridge. Does this help me against any Ensnaring Bridge decks? let's say I can't beat Death Shadow decks because I can't outgrind Lurrus. Does this help me with threat density? Does this help me against any of those bad matchups? Because if it doesn't, then I don't care about the card. A lot of people just like, oh, this card is cool. This thing's so neat. I want to jam it in my deck. But they don't think about how, does this solve any problems that you have? Because maybe this is just, this does just as well as cards that you're already playing in your list. Because it's the losing matchups you got to be concerned about. It's not the winning matchups. If there's any matchups you're already beating, you don't need to beat them more necessarily. There could be a strategy in some cases, be really good against some certain decks, and then whatever, your bad matchups just lose them. But in general, I'm like looking at that's how I evaluate a card, if it's good or bad in the metagame. How can it help me? If it can't, then screw it. I don't need this card. Flower Storm King with the Kramer Pirate avatar. How can I start practicing good habits? Grinding out friendlies only improves your skill if you practice doing good things. So how do I know if I'm making mistakes, choosing wrong lines, etc.? You know what the answer to this is? And a lot of people don't... this is very unpopular in Magic the Gathering right now. You need a coach. You literally need to pay for coaching. Which is funny because... So you're asking... You got the right mentality. You got the right idea on how to improve in Magic. And actually, to be honest, you are probably... You're like the third person to ever mention this in like 7 years or 8 years I've been doing content creation. Or even just being part of in Magic. Coaching is... Personal coaching is very unpopular because most Magic players, they don't think that that's valuable. That having a set of eyes from a good player watching them has any benefit. But if you play any other game or you're in any other sport, a coach helps big time. They can see your weaknesses. They can see your flaws. They can pay attention to what you need to be improving on. I mean, it's also good. At the very least, you should look at your own games when you're done them. See if you can find any of your own mistakes. But then you should pay for coaching. But the problem is not a lot of people... There are some people now that are offering coaching. But it's very unpopular. Not a lot of people offer coaching. Not a lot of people are... looking for it or asking for it. So if any big Moto streamers out there, streamers, content creators, or players, start offering coaching and then go pay for some of it so you can get a fresh set of eyeballs on your games. It's a good sideboard versus spirits. I don't know what to... I mean, it depends on the deck, right? In general, shooting things down is good. It's not the be-all and end-all. Because, I mean, they have their own game plan against that as well. I mean, they got the Mausoleum Wanderers, they got the Rattle Chains. But things like Engineered Explosives can be good. Board wipes can be good if you can get them to resolve. It depends. But generally speaking, a lot of removal is fine versus... fine. Like, it's a good default plan versus creature-based decks. How do you play against creature decks like humans, elementals, goblins, Yawgmoth using Merfolk? Do I just race them? I'm still learning the ropes with Merfolk, so I'm lost. I do it a little bit differently. Against humans, I do have to race them. It's difficult, but I have to race them. They interact better than me, and my interaction sucks versus them. Against elementals, I'm just dead. They're going to outvalue us big time. Between Fury and Solitude, we'll never be able to race. I would like to race elementals, but I can't. They have too many free spells, and they'll grind me out with Risen Reef. I guess your best option is to bring in enough removal to kill the Risen Reef. Because if the Risen Reef dies, then their value plan is not as terrible. Against goblins, you have to do a combination of either racing / dealing with their combo. If it's a value goblins deck, you're just a dog, and there's just not much you can do about it. Try to play around Munitions Expert the best you can, but that's about it. But I would bring in like old Pithing Needle effects for like what do I name? Conspicuous Snoop? Can't remember if I named Conspicuous Snoop or I'm naming Sling Gang Commander or something like that. But you got to bring in some Pithing Needle effects for their combo. And if they can't combo off, you're not in bad shape. You're not actually in that bad of shape. Against Yawgmoth, just keep their creatures off the board, counter the right spells. It's actually not too bad of a matchup. While you're dealing damage. Okay. Really behind the... Oh, man, you guys are on fire today. Good morning, Nikachu. Have you finally sold your Parallel Lives before the imminent reprint in Double Masters? Oh god, I know that's coming up. No, I have not. In fact, I have them partially sleeved right here. We still got the Parallel Lives. So I always told you guys I had Parallel Lives, but it was always in a deck box and binder. Now I have them on my table to show you all. I still have the Parallel Lives. What is Parallel Lives up to? It's going down. Damn it, but it's going up again. Gotta sell this thing. 50 bucks. Fusion Gaming Online, how much will you give me in store credit for Parallel Lives? How much value can you get? The 25% store, so I can get 40, I can get either 35 Canadian dollars or almost $44 in store credit. This doesn't feel great, but it is a good chunk of money. It is a good chunk of money. Anyway, I still got the Parallel Lives. And yeah, you're right, probably coming out in Double Masters. It will probably be like the card on the front of their box, right? It's probably going to be the card on the box. Or how far can I push my luck? I thought this was going to get reprinted 20 times at this point. Is Torpor Orb good versus the Incarnations and Elementals? Yes and no. So the problem with Torpor Orb... Okay, so yes, you deal with the creatures and... You deal with the part where they're not going to hit your creatures, but you let them play their creatures basically for free. So they can just pitch. Fury could now pitch a red card and boom, they have a 3/3 double striker on the battlefield. And they don't have to sacrifice it because when it enters the battlefield, the evoke trigger is supposed to trigger, but it's not going to trigger because of Torpor Orb. So anyway, so in a way, yeah, I help them. Although my board still is intact, I guess. What is a 2K? A 2K is a tournament that has a 2K in prize fund, whether it's be store credit or money. The 2K just represents how much money is in the prize fund. Ooh, I like this one. Wizards of the Coast, new plane. Return to profits. I think they've always been profitable, though. Oh, I like this one. Good morning, Manitoba. Good morning, Manitoba. Most of you aren't from Manitoba. Is anyone from Manitoba here? I doubt. There might be one. There might be one person from Manitoba here. Although they should be working, right? Tyler Chen, what did the financials / spending of going to GP Vegas look like, especially from Canada? It cost me $2,100. I tried to make it around $1,800, but I had to get a COVID test, and I spent a lot of money on that. And anyway, it was $2,100. I think I spent $700 on my hotel. I think I spent something like $700 or $800 on the plane ticket. It sort of disgusted me. So anyway, that's how much it cost. I was sort of comfortable around $1,500, and I booked it for $1,800, and then I had to get that COVID test, and I took a bunch of Ubers, and the test was like $200. Ugh. Disgusting. Not happy about it, but whatever. And I didn't even cash. I didn't even cash in the tournament. How fucked is that? I didn't get any. I got 60th place. I got no money. Nothing. It reminds me of one time I got 65th place, which I bubbled in one GP. I was like, I don't know, I was X and 4. I think I was X and 4, and I'm like, I for sure made the prizes, 100%. And then I bubbled out on tiebreakers. I'm not good at making prize money. Damn good thing I got this YouTube channel. Companion, I hate Companion even with strawberries. I think that's a Spaceballs quote. Here we go. We got a top tier streamer here. We got the Chief saying Enchantress is one of the worst decks in Modern. So that's the problem here. What is the reason behind Oboro and Merfolk's land destruction in response? No. So you can tap it for a blue. Then with Mutavault, you can tap a generic, put the Oboro back in your hand, replay the Oboro for a turn, and get your second blue, so it can filter colorless mana. Then if your opponent, like let's say I've got a really good card in my hand. Let's say I have Lord of Atlantis in my hand. I want to keep it, or Sfeilun. I got Sfeilun in my hand. I don't want to discard Sfeilun, but my opponent played Kroxa, and Sfeilun is the only card in my hand. I can put the Oboro back in my hand to discard to Kroxa, or any other random discard effect, Kolaghan's Command, and then play my protect the Sfeilun in my hand. So anyway, that's some points to Oboro, and it's randomly not an island, so it doesn't get boiled or choked or anything like that. Man, we getting these questions like it's 2015. It's been a long time since people are so curious about Oboro and Minamo. Now Minamo looks like it makes sense because we got Sfeilun in the deck, but people keep asking about Oboro. If we didn't have Sfeilun, though, people would be all over us. What the hell is the Minamo for? Minamo's honestly not for much. So we got, I want a 2-mana Fairy Lord with flying and give other fairies +1/+0 and hexproof. I think you wanted to also give +1 as well. +1/+1. Because these things are just going to get cooked by Plague Engineer. That's the problem. Let's say your fairy deck does really well. Then the Jund players are like, and the Shadow players are like, okay, let's start sleeving up them Plague Engineers. That's the sad thing about Tribal these days. I mean, unless you're Elementals, because their tribes are, like, so fucking beefy. Omnath doesn't give a shit about Plague Engineer. But, I mean, like, the moment your tribe gets good, this guy starts showing up in people's sideboards. And then all the Tribal decks are just groaning over it. Ugh! Creatures of the Chosen. When it enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Creatures of the Chosen type, your opponent's control get -1/-1. Lord Magicus made a pretty good joke. You could saw in half a Plague Engineer. Destroy target creature. If that creature dies this way, you get 2 tokens of that copy. You just, like, divide the power and toughness. You have 2 Plague Engineers. What a combo. Disgusting combo, but a combo. Darwin says, I made second at Attorney without Mem Knight using Hammer Time. Core Outfitter is good. Try it out. Sounds less explosive, though. How can we make Chalice not relevant so the price can tank so I can pick up 4 copies on Magic the Gathering online? Just gotta wait. Look, it's gonna go down, but you gotta take action when it happens. Like, maybe you're a little late to the party here, Kev, because I think I don't really recognize your name over the years. You look like someone who's sort of new. But when it tanked, I told people to buy it. When it tanked again, I told people to buy it. Like, now's the time. I even made a video exclusively about Chalice of the Void. Like, it went down. Now you go buy the damn thing. And maybe that's why it flatlined at that point, because people were buying it as it was going down. And now it's gone up. And now you gotta wait for it to go down. Or you suffer and you pay full price. You gotta buy on the dip. If there's one thing I can agree on some of those crypto people, you buy low. But do they ever sell? It was like buy on the dip, buy on the dip. I don't know if they ever sell anything. What do you think 8-Rack needs to make it even better? Play Urza Saga. Go find your racks. I bet there's a good 8-Rack deck out there. I just don't know what it is. Oh, there's a... You know, you guys are talking about chess. There was a chess game today, wasn't there? Oh, okay. Now that you got it on my mind, I can't do anything until I find this chess game. So, World Chess Championship Game 4. We're taking a break to look at game... Oh, it's a draw again. Sorry if that was a spoiler alert. Where's the game, though? I'm a huge chess fan. Huge chess fan. All right. Oh, we gotta zoom in. Let's enjoy this beauty. Carlsen had the white pieces here. E4, E5. Oh, they're going with the Russian. They're going with the Russian now. What is Magnus Carlsen's spice here? Because this is a pretty... Whoa, 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 whoa. What is Queen B3? Is that a novelty? I have never seen that move before. That is such a bizarre looking move. I mean, I guess it's trying to attack the B7 pawn. Try not to bore you guys for too long. So they're going to make a bunch of exchanges. Magnus Carlsen seems to like this pawn structure. Aha, so now the a7 pawn is really tied down, and this knight actually has nowhere really good to go. Even after it goes to d7, it goes to f6, it can only go to e4. Doesn't have a good bright future. But now there's a pass pawn on a5. Okay, I don't understand all these moves anymore. This whole knight route is just bizarre. They're playing for something. They're trying. Magnus Carlsen's trying to go to work here. Oh, he decides to go for a draw. He chickened out. He chickened out. Alright, enough of that. Once you mentioned chess, I would not have been able to get that thing off of my mind for the rest of the day, or for the rest of the stream. How is chess not a solved game? Because there's more there's more chess positions than there are atoms in the universe. Very far from it. Never sell your crypto unless you need the money or have a plan for that money. Mikey J always in there with that financial advice. Don't sell unless you need the money for something else. Yeah, but like, what if you think it's just gonna, like, it's so speculative. What if you think it's gonna tank tomorrow? It's so volatile. Like, there's a point where you're owning Dogecoin. Like, what, you think this thing's gonna go to $5, $10? There's gotta be a point where you get nervous. You're like, hey, this thing can't go on for forever. Gotta sell my Dogecoin. Carl, this is the first time I'm listening to Coffee and MTG while I'm drunk. Oh, it must be a hell of a different experience out there in the Philippines. Is Infect a good deck in a heavy removal format, or is the top 8 on Vegas was luck? So I think the secret was the Ferexian Crusader, and I have a video on this on my news channel. I think the soul of that deck's performance was that Ferexian Crusader was invincible. Like, this card, there's only one pro-red, pro-white creature in the entire format. Like, basically, I think almost everything you name as a removal spell in Modern cannot touch this thing. With the exception of maybe Fatal Push, and that's not even very popular anymore. But you look at, like, Unholy Heat, Prismatic Ending, maybe Path to Exile. But then you go to Solitude, you look at Fury, you look at Teferi Time Raveler, Teferi Hero of Dominaria. There's, like, all the most common removal, Lightning Bolt. It doesn't affect Ferexian Crusader. Ferexian Crusader doesn't give a shit. It can block Swift Spear and small, I don't know what's it called, Dragon Rage Chandlers. So I think that was the key. I don't know if you have to go Sultai, but Ferexian Crusader looks like it's well positioned right now. That's the deal. So you get this thing out on turn 2 with, like, one of your million hierarchs, and you're good. You're good. There's going to be a lot of decks that just can't do anything about it. They just pump it up for victory. Time for Pongifying for this Merfolk guy? Maybe. Yeah, Path, Bolt, no top deck. And also, you still need, even if you want to play Fatal Push, you still need to crack something. And it's basically unblockable, like most of the creatures that block, like, are red and white right now. Anyway, so I think it's, this is just a well-positioned creature. Doesn't have protection from Thoughtseize, though. Does not have protection from Thoughtseize. Alright, it's time for deck list review. This is when we, like, you submit deck lists, and I look at them, and I give some sort of advice, and you guys give some sort of advice. And if you want to be part of this whole deal, this dance that we do at deck list review, go into my description. There's a link to my Discord. Join the Discord. Then there's a channel called Decklist Review, and enter the command !review deck space, give the URL to your deck list, and you'll be eligible at random for deck list review. And we know the Chief is going to be looking at these deck lists because he's looking for something. He's hungry for some new deck list to put on his stream. You never know. And I think, didn't he go 5-0 with, like, an Elves list? I think he went 5-0. Alrighty. So I'll pick something at random. Hunter CS. Maybe it stands for Counter-Strike. You are the next contestant on Deck List Review. If it loads. Oh, happy birthday, Jarl. It'd be funny if Ferexian Crusader caught on in Legacy, where you could just Dark Ritual into it turn 1. Is it invincible in Legacy, though? I know it's invincible in Modern, but maybe not as much in Legacy. Nethro Displacer, whatever that means. Okay, so we've got like a Yorion deck. So you have some Blinking strategy, huh? The Stitcher's Supplier, the Charming Prince, the Corpse Knight. Oh god, whenever another creature enters the battlefield. Oh, so you... Interesting. This is actually the first time I might have seen Yorion with Corpse Knight before. Okay. Elvish Visionary. What's with this mana base? Fiend Artisan, Prospect. Oh god. It's almost like looking at a commander deck, to be honest. Oh, you have Eldritch Evolution. This is... Okay, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. You make some suggestions here, because, like, this is too complicated for me to tell. Prosperous Innkeeper, Satyr Wayfinder, Sylvan Caryatid, Callous Blood Mage. Hold on, is there... Please give me a description of any combos that there might exist in this deck. Oh god, there's nothing. We're screwed here. It's just like a bunch of... It's like an ETB deck that can use Yorion, but also has Eldritch Evolution for whatever card they want to tutor for. And I guess Fiend Artisan gets some additional bonus for any creatures that are in the graveyard. Check the primer. Oh, is there something I can click on? Where does it put the primer? If there's anything here. Oh, here it is. I didn't know there was a primer button. I don't know if this deck is too slow or interruptible, even for... Oh, it's Pioneer. Oh, that is sick, actually. I thought this was for Modern. But I'm trying to see if I can make Displacer work with... make a Displacer deck work with Eldrazi Displacer and Broad Monitor is infinite ETB triggers for Corpse Knight or Prosperous Innkeeper. Sylvan Caryatid is a hexproof target for Nethro Apex Death Mutate. What? The deck is already full of ETBs or Displacer and Yorion. Is that they... So the deck already has quite a few sacrifice outlets for Eldritch Evolution. So there is a combo here. So what is the... Okay, hold on. What's the combo? Displacer and Brood Monitor. Oh, this is so expensive, though. When Brood Monitor enters the battlefield, put 3 1/1 colorless Eldrazi sign tokens onto the battlefield. They have sacrifice this creature. Oh, but this isn't even a combo. This isn't even a combo. Like, I get it. You blink and you get like four creatures enter the battlefield, but I thought they would blink each other until the cows come home somehow. I would say that's a very weak combo, but whatever. I guess if you got one of these in the deck, big deal. But how do you even get this thing out? You have Siege Rhino. So now there's a second combo with Nethroi Apex. This is a mutate card. When this creature mutates, return any number of target creature cards with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Okay, maybe that could be cool. But it's very expensive. You can go Orzhov because you need to play with Eldritch Evolution. Like, that's the whole point. It has at least one tutor. Use the misprinted Corpse Knight might fool someone. I didn't even know there was a misprinted Corpse Knight. Okay, so what are your combo pieces? You said this is a combo piece, and you said... Okay, you have 4 copies of the Displacer, which is very important. So here's a good question. How does this deck just normally win, if it wins at all? Or do you just spew a bunch of like random creatures on the battlefield? Enters the battlefield, choose one, create a 1/1. You can draw a card, lose a life, exile target player's graveyard. This card is actually really good. Okay, this is a pretty good tutor. Not bad. Sin Collector. I don't know if you need this one, though. Knight of Autumn. You should probably have 4 Renegade Rallier, right? You could Eldritch Evolution. For example, you could like go Stitcher's Supplier, Eldritch Evolution... Or, I don't know, like Elvish Visionary, Eldritch Evolution into Renegade Rallier just for value. Get your Elvish Visionary back on the battlefield, draw a card. I think that is... Or even just, oh. The thing is, if you're tutoring, then you only need 2 anyway. I want to say this is good in the deck, though. Is there anything else being sacrificed? Not really. There's not even fetch lands. Okay, maybe this is not as good. Okay, so maybe this doesn't need to be a 4-of. Acolyte of Affliction. ETB, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Okay, one problem I have with this deck is you do nothing on turn 1. This is actually a big problem. Do something on turn 1, please. That's my biggest problem with this deck. You have like nothing. You have 3 things to do on turn 1. That's not good enough. So you need to gut 4 random cards here, and let's be serious. Like, how many of these cards do you need? What is this? Flying. When it enters the battlefield, you may exile any number of non-angel creatures you control until gloriously. No, we don't need this card. Or any number. You may exile any number of you control. I think this is a bit funny. So you have to, I think you need to make some cuts here to put enough 1-drops in your deck, whether it be Thoughtseize or... What are the 1-drops we have available anyway? What are 1-drops can we put in this deck? We could put Thoughtseize if there's enough black mana sources. 1, 6, 10, 11, 12... This doesn't count. 16. Oh, there's more than enough. I think there's more than enough. Yeah, we could have mana dorks too. Actually, we could have. Maybe we should just have 4 Llanowar elves. Maybe 4 Llanowar elves into turn 2, like 3-drops, or even Eldritch Evolution is possible. Renegade Rallier plus Kaya's Ghost form. Enchanted creature or planeswalker you control, when enchanted permanent dies or is put into exile, return that card to its battlefield. Well, this is not. No, this isn't really a 1-drop that I'm talking about here. I want something I can do on turn 1 that doesn't depend on anything. Like other things I'm thinking of, maybe like, what's the 1-mana white artifact? It's like remove target creature. Because we could go the mana dork route, but there's a lot of 2-drops in this deck. And so you're just sort of overshooting the 2-drops. Mana dorks are really good if you're trying to hit 3-drops, but there's actually very few 3-drops. So I would actually rather have Thoughtseize in this deck, or some sort of 1-mana removal. I would actually prefer to have, I think in this deck I would rather have the some interaction. I mean, in theory, I guess you could play Fatal Push. But I'm telling you, you gotta have some spot removal. You have to have some my suggestion is remove 5 cards, and like, please just cut some stuff. Like, what do you need another? I guess you could have a Yorion in the deck, whatever. I don't know if Brood Monitor is worth it. Like, Yorion is probably your probably your Brood Monitor, right? Because this thing will blink everything. Everything will enter the battlefield, and you're gonna get the triggers again, right? So you don't need Brood Monitor, so you cut that. Probably should take out... If there's another creature in here that kills creatures, like Chupacabra, you should probably take that one out as well. Then you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Like, this probably should be gotten rid of. Like here, what do you want? Skyclave Apparition or Chupacabra? And probably you should just take out one of these, so you have the other one available. But you gotta remove 5 cards, in my opinion. I don't know how many lands you're supposed to have. What is this Cryptolite Rise? Creatures you control add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I don't know, I don't really like this card, but whatever. Maybe remove this one. Sacrifice a creature, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card in your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Like, what's the point of this card when your deck is random? Your deck is just full of random cards. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. I would actually take this out and put like a 1-drop. I think the soul of this deck is Eldritch Evolution. Yeah, maybe Portable Hole will work as a 1 mana. So I would say 4 Portable Hole or 4 Thoughtseize. Do you have Thoughtseize in the sideboard? You have the Thoughtseize in the sideboard. You got the 1-drops here. Because you're just too slow. I don't know. When you're starting your game on turn 2, on the draw, you're going to lose to a lot of decks. It's a Pioneer deck. So that's my suggestion. Get at least 8 things to do on turn 1. So you can compete with other decks. Anyway, good luck with the deck list. Oops. Mareep King. You are the next contestant on deck list review. And you're the second person to use Moxfield today. Jundant. So it's like not Jund? Aha, I see. It's like Mardu. Luris, Dragon Rage Channeler, Ragavan, Scourge of the Skyclaves, and Squadron Hawk. Oh. What is the spice here? Why Squadron Hawk? So we got Inquisition of Kozilek, Prismatic Ending, Thoughtseize, Lightning Bolt, Mishra's Bauble, Shadow Spear, Smuggler's Copter. I guess to discard your Squadron Hawks that you got. Arid Mesa, Blackcleave Cliffs, Blood Crypt. You got a bunch of lands here. Oh, you got Urza Saga. So your Urza Saga can find your Shadow Spear and your Mishra's Baubles. And just make stuff in general. Tormod's Crypt, Giver of Runes, Nihil Spellbomb, Path to Exile, Pithing Needle, Auriok Champion, Drannith Magistrate, Aetherstorm Canonist, Ratchet Bomb, Kolaghan's Command. You got your Luris and your Wear and Tear. I don't understand why the Squadron Hawks. Really? Where's the sorcerer that creates... You mean like Lingering Souls? I'm not in love with... I think Lingering Souls is actually really clunky. How many deck lists do we review each stream? 2. And you'd be happy with it. You'd be happy with it. No, lingering works with, well, it has no synergy with Luris, but you can play it because it's a 3-drop. It's not a 3-mana permanent, it's a 3-mana spell. You can have 3-mana spells in your deck, by the way. I hope you're not. I hope you're not holding back the good spells. Like, you can play Kolaghan's Command in this deck with Luris. Luris says, each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. So you can play Damnation if you want. If you really want. I think, first off, I don't know why you have Giver of Runes here. It seems like a weird card to have in the sideboard. Not sure what the matchup is for. Because if you really need Auriok Champion, you should probably be playing with more Auriok Champions. I would play less Giver of Runes, more Auriok Champions if that was so important to you. The list is fine. I just don't understand the Squadron Hawks. Yeah, why the Hawks? Neither do I. I'm messing around too. Alright, so we're messing around with Squadron Hawks. Probably this card should be something else. But if you really want to play that card, go for it. I mean, if nothing else, you can like Smuggler's Copter all the extra Hawks away. Or like just, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. Okay, hold on. Here's a good question. How easily can we turn Dragon Rage Channel on? We got Sorcery. We actually have very few instants in this deck. I guess you should play Unholy Heat instead of Lightning Bolt. That's something you should do. Or replace the Squadron Hawk with Unholy Heat, so that you can get Delirium online. You have enough cards you have enough instants to get Delirium online, because right now, your best bet is Land, Creature, Sorcery, Artifact. But if you get, because right now, Unholy Heat is better than Lightning Bolt. Unholy Heat has, like, at least a chance of killing a Murktide Regent, whereas Lightning Bolt doesn't. Unholy Heat can kill Primeval Titan. Unholy Heat can kill all the Elementals. Particularly, like, Omnath. No, these cards are really out of date. I mean, these are just really dead cards. Young Pyromancer, if you don't get value off of that thing immediately. I mean, they used to play, like, Young Pyromancer, Gitaxian Probu. They at least got a token. But that value is... it pales in comparison to what we do these days. Not even worth it. So I think the best thing we could do for this deck is honestly replace the Squadron Hawks with Lightning Bolts. Sorry, Unholy Heats. Just so that we have enough instants in the deck to get Dragon Rage Chandler's Delirium online. Because right now I think it's hard. I think it's relatively hard. Maybe between all the instants and artifacts you can make it work, but I think it's a bit challenging. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's just okay. But I do know that Unholy Heat is better than Lightning Bolt. So at the very least, if you're like diehard Diamond Hands on Squadron Hawk, you know, I'm playing Squadron Hawk, fuck it, I don't care, then replace Lightning Bolt with Unholy Heat. Yeah, the deck time is going on right now, as it always does. Saga does count towards Delirium, yeah, because it's an enchantment, but like this is the only card in the deck that does that. And ideally it's on the battlefield at first. But it's gonna get dumpstered. It will get dumpstered. True story. How's having Lightning Helix here, by the way? Clunky. I think it's clunky. I think decks like this do very well because it's so mana efficient. Very, very mana efficient. Oh, you know what? You need Lightning Bolt in the deck because you're playing with Scourge of the Skyclaves. You're going to have a lot of games where you can't even play a Scourge because your opponent's life total is at 20. So you need the Lightning Bolt. But I still think you should have Unholy Heat in this deck. So I would say the easiest fix to this deck is you remove the Squadron Hawks and you add Unholy Heat. Or you remove Prismatic Ending and put Unholy Heat. Prismatic Ending is a good card. Prismatic Ending is a good card. Or you trim on some Inquisitions, add Unholy Heat, and put some of the Inquisitions in the sideboard. This deck won't have that much mana to play Cut to Ribbons. Please more than 2 deck lists, Papa. No. You get 2 deck lists a day. Because what else would you be looking forward to the next day? So anyway, that's all that I have to say about this deck list. Good luck with it. And that's Coffee and MTG for today. So if you didn't get your comments, questions, or your deck lists, the whole idea is that we do this Monday to Friday night from 9 a.m., starting at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square, because there's always another day of Coffee and MTG. If you love Coffee and MTG, you want to support the channel, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/Nikachu MTG. You can become a patron at patreon.com, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. It's all valid ways of supporting the channel. So, thank you very much for joining me today. Have a good morning. Enjoy the Unset. Start simmering in your brain, like what lands you're going to get. Are you going to upgrade any of your shock lands? Hey, let me know in the comments section below. So, enjoy your morning, and take care.